Welcome to Language Swap, everyone, a fun way to learn English. We are so excited to have you join us today.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sally. Today we're doing part 2 of one of our most popular episodes, The English Natives Actually Speak. And this time we're covering greetings, ordering coffee, buying bread, and eating out.
If you've ever said good morning, how are you today to a barista, and watch their face do something strange, this episode is for you.
By the end of today, you'll sound like you actually live here, instead of like you're reciting a phrase from chapter 1 of a textbook.
And I have a genuinely humiliating coffee shop story. So let's get into it.
A coffee shop story already? I'm ready for this.
My first week living somewhere English-speaking, I walked into a coffee shop and said very formally, "Good morning. How are you doing today? I would like to order a coffee, please."
That's not wrong, exactly, but something's a little off.
It's not wrong, but the barista just stood there for a second, like he was waiting for me to keep going, because apparently that many words in a row before ordering coffee sounds almost theatrical.
Like you were about to start a speech instead of ordering a latte.
And behind me, the line had gotten noticeably longer, and someone actually sighed loudly on purpose, so I'd feel it.
Okay, so greetings are actually the perfect place to start today because this is where so much of that mismatch begins. Real greetings are short, fast, and honestly kind of lazy compared to what gets taught in class.
What should I have said instead of the whole speech?
Honestly, just hey or morning would have done the entire job. Morning, can I get a latte? 2 short pieces, done.
Morning on its own? Not even good morning?
Exactly. Native speakers drop good constantly in casual settings. Morning alone, said with a rising, friendly tone, means the exact same thing as the full phrase.
What about how are you? Because I feel like that one has its own trap hidden inside it.
Huge trap, actually. How are you in a real fast interaction like ordering coffee isn't really a question anyone expects you to answer honestly.
So what do people actually say back?
Good, you, that's it. 2 words, maybe 3. Nobody's waiting to hear about your actual week at the coffee counter.
I definitely used to answer that question with actual updates about my life in line while people waited behind me.
I can picture someone starting a genuine emotional update while the barista is just holding a cup waiting.
That was genuinely me, more than once, before I understood the pattern.
Let's cover a few more greeting variations since there are honestly more than people expect. Hey, casual works anywhere, any time of day.
What's up? Casual? Sometimes literally asking what's happening, but usually just a greeting with no real question behind it.
How's it going? Extremely common functions exactly like how are you, but feels a notch more relaxed.
Hiya. More common in some regions, especially parts of the UK. Warm and informal.
Yo, extremely casual, mostly between close friends, definitely not for your first coffee shop interaction.
I will not be saying yo to any baristas this week.
Probably wise. Now, once the greeting's done, ordering itself has its own real patterns, completely different from the textbook version.
Give me the real version, since apparently my full sentence was basically a monologue.
Can I get the most common opener by far? Can I get a medium latte? Fast, friendly, completely standard?
I'll have a slightly more classic sounding, still completely natural and common. I'll have a cappuccino, please.
Another one is, can I grab a very casual, implies speed and ease. Can I grab a black coffee real quick?
I want to bring up something that confused me forever. Actually, sizes. Because apparently every coffee shop just makes up its own words for small, medium, and large.
Oh, this is genuinely one of the funniest parts of ordering coffee in English. Honestly, some places use small, medium, large. Simple, no confusion.
And then there's the other kind of place. At Starbucks, for example.
And then there's the other kind of place. Exactly. Tall grande venti at one very famous chain, where tall is actually the smallest size, which confuses genuinely everyone the first time.
Wait, tall means small? That feels like it was designed specifically to confuse people.
It really does feel that way. I've watched native English speakers stand there confused by that exact system, so you're in very good company if it trips you up.
I want to share a story here, actually, because I know someone who hit this exact wall.
Please tell me I need to hear this.
A friend of mine, new to the country, walked into that famous coffee chain and confidently ordered a large coffee, using the word she'd learned in English class.
What actually happened after that?
The barista just paused and asked, "Do you mean a venti?" And she had absolutely no idea what that word meant, so she just said yes out of pure social pressure.
The classic panic yes when you don't understand, but the line behind you is growing.
Exactly that. She told me later she just nodded along to an entire transaction without understanding half the vocabulary, purely to keep the line moving.
That's such a universal experience, honestly, in any language, in any country at some point.
She said something afterward that stuck with me. She said, "I paid for a drink size I didn't understand, in a language I was still learning, and somehow that felt like a small victory anyway."
Oh, I love that reframe. Surviving the confusing interaction at all counts as progress, even if you didn't fully understand every word.
Now, let's cover the phrase that comes right after ordering, the one that trips up almost everyone at some point.
For here or to go, this question decides whether you're staying at the shop or taking your drink with you.
What if you don't understand it fast enough? Which happened to me constantly at first.
Just say to go or for here clearly, and they'll understand immediately, even if you missed part of the question itself.
Room for cream? That one confused me for actual weeks. I thought they were asking about physical space in the shop.
Thinking they're asking about seating instead of asking if they should leave room in the cup for milk.
I said yes, there's a table over there once, completely misunderstanding the entire question.
That's such a specific, wonderful misunderstanding. Room for cream just means, should I leave space in your cup for milk or cream? Nothing about seating at all.
Now that I finally understand it, I feel like I wasted actual weeks being confused by 4 small words.
Let's move to the bakery now because this one has its own completely separate set of traps.
Oh, the bakery. I have a story here too, actually, and it's genuinely one of my favorites from this whole topic.
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
I walked into a bakery once and had absolutely no idea what half the pastries were called. So I just pointed at one and said, "Can I get one of those?"
That's actually a completely acceptable, very common strategy, by the way.
It felt embarrassing in the moment, but the person behind the counter didn't even blink, just said, "Sure, anything else?" Like pointing was the most normal thing in the world.
Because it is the most normal thing in the world. Can I get one of those, or what's this one called, are both completely standard, no shame required at all.
What other bakery phrases should people actually know?
What's in this one? Useful for allergies or just curiosity about the filling or ingredients? Is this fresh? Also completely normal. Bakers expect this question daily.
I'll take a dozen. Useful if you're buying a large quantity. A dozen being 12 of something.
Could you slice that for me? Useful specifically for bread, since not everyone wants to slice a whole loaf themselves at home.
I want to add the phrase that saved me the most, actually. What do you recommend? Bakers almost always light up when you ask that.
That's such a good one, honestly, and it works everywhere. Not just bakeries, people generally love being asked for their opinion on something they're proud of.
I want to add one more bakery moment, actually, because it connects to something bigger about small talk in these quick interactions.
Oh, small talk. That's its own entire category of confusion for a lot of learners.
A friend told me once that the hardest part of the bakery wasn't ordering the bread. It was the 7 seconds of silence while the person wrapped it.
That silence genuinely is uncomfortable, isn't it? You've finished ordering, but you're still standing there.
She said native speakers fill that silence with things like, "Nice weather today," or "Busy morning, huh?" And she never knew what to say back.
Those aren't real questions either, by the way. Same as how are you? Nice weather? Just needs yeah, really nice, or even just I know, right?
So the whole interaction, greeting, ordering, the silent wrapping moment, and the goodbye is basically built from tiny scripted exchanges that nobody actually thinks about.
Exactly that. Once you learn the small set of phrases that cover 90% of these interactions, the whole thing stops feeling like an exam and starts feeling like a rhythm.
A rhythm. That's such a good way to put it, actually. It's not really about vocabulary size, it's about knowing the beat of the conversation.
And once you know the beat, you can relax into it instead of translating every single word in your head while a line forms behind you.
Now, restaurants, which I think might be the most nerve-wracking of all three. At least it was for me.
Restaurants have a lot of little moving parts. That's true. Let's start with ordering itself. Can I get the salmon? I'll do the pasta. Both completely standard, casual ways to order.
I'll do the pasta always struck me as strange, honestly. Since you're not doing anything, you're eating.
English genuinely doesn't care about that logic. Do gets used constantly for choosing food, even though nothing is actually being performed or created in the literal sense.
After our whole episode about do versus make, that inconsistency feels almost personal at this point.
It kind of is personal, honestly. English just enjoys being inconsistent, specifically in food-related vocabulary. Apparently,
What about asking for recommendations at a real restaurant, not just a bakery?
what do you recommend works everywhere. Also, what's popular here or what's the specialty? Both signal you trust their judgment.
And modifying an order since I always seem to need something changed.
Could I get that on the side for sauces or dressings you want separate? Could I get that without onions for removing something specific?
What about when the waiter comes back to check on you halfway through the meal? That always catches me off guard too.
How's everything tasting is the classic one. You don't need a detailed review, just great thanks covers it completely.
Even if something's actually wrong with the food.
If something's genuinely wrong, actually, could I get this remade or this isn't quite right? Could you take a look? Both work well, polite but clear.
That's useful actually, because I used to just eat things I didn't like rather than say anything at all.
So many people do that, honestly, in every language, not just English. Sending food back feels confrontational, even when it absolutely shouldn't.
I once ate an entire dish. I was allergic to a little bit, just because I didn't know how to say anything.
That's genuinely more concerning than funny, but I understand the impulse completely.
I want to share one more story actually, because it's genuinely the most embarrassing one I've saved for last.
Oh, there's a bigger one than the coffee speech. I need this immediately.
At the end of a meal, I genuinely didn't know how to ask for the bill. So I just sat there, awkwardly, hoping the waiter would notice and bring it eventually.
How long did you sit there?
Almost 20 minutes, just sitting, watching other tables get their checks while I quietly panicked internally.
20 minutes of silent suffering over 4 simple words.
When I finally got the courage to ask, I just blurted out, "The paper for the money, please," which is somehow not even close to correct English.
Oh, that's such a beautifully creative attempt, though. What should you have said?
"Can we get the check, please?" Or in some places, "Could we get the bill?" Both completely standard, no creative paper money inventions required.
Check is more common in American English, bill more common in British English, but both are understood pretty much everywhere at this point.
I wish someone had told me that 20 minutes earlier, honestly, instead of letting me sit there constructing an entirely new phrase from scratch.
And then there's tipping, which brings its own layer of anxiety on top of everything else.
How much should I tip? Is honestly a completely normal question to ask a local friend. By the way, nobody expects you to just know the percentage.
True, it varies so much by country and even by city. So asking is always better than guessing and either underpaying or wildly overpaying out of nervousness.
I think the theme connecting every single story today is that pointing, gesturing, and just saying one of those is always more acceptable than people fear it will be.
That's genuinely the biggest takeaway from this whole episode. Real communication isn't about perfect vocabulary. It's about getting your actual need across even clumsily.
My friend's small victory, with the confusing coffee size, my own paper for money invention, all of it still worked. Nobody refused to serve us over a grammar mistake.
Exactly. Native speakers are far more forgiving in real transactions than textbooks ever prepare you to expect. All right, let's do our word tour for today.
Let's start with the greeting section first. Morning alone, dropping good entirely in casual settings. Hey, and what's up? Casual openers for any time of day. How's it going and good you? The expected fast exchange? Not a real question.
Now, moving on to ordering coffee. Can I get the most common way to start an order? I'll have and can I grab equally natural alternatives? For here or to go, deciding whether you're staying or leaving. Room for cream, asking if space should be left in the cup. Nothing about seating.
Now at the bakery, specifically. Can I get one of those? perfectly acceptable even while pointing. What's in this one? And is this fresh? Completely normal questions. What do you recommend? Works everywhere, bakers included. And the small talk phrases that fill those quiet gaps everywhere. Nice weather today? And busy morning? Huh? Not real questions, just rhythm. Yeah, really nice. Or, I know, right? The expected easy response.
And finally, at the restaurant, I'll do the pasta ordering food, even though nothing is technically being done. How's everything tasting? The mid-meal check-in question. Actually, could I get this remade? Polite, but clear when something's wrong. Could I get that on the side for separating sauces or dressings? Can we get the check? The phrase that would have saved 20 minutes of silent waiting?
Your challenge this week. Order something this week using one phrase from today instead of the formal version you learned in school.
And if you've ever pointed at something and said, one of those, you're in genuinely excellent, very normal company.
If today's episode made ordering feel a little less terrifying, share it with someone who's still sitting there waiting 20 minutes for a check that isn't coming.
And remember, the goal was never perfect grammar in these moments. It was always just getting your coffee, your bread, or your check, however clumsily that happens.
My friend's confusing venti, my paper for money invention, all of it still got us fed and caffeinated in the end.
Which, honestly, might be the most important skill of all, staying fed while you're still learning everything else.
A very practical kind of survival in the most literal sense possible.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
We'll see you in the next episode.